Hello, hello. Welcome to the next Lessons from the Animals series episode. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the horse. So the horse boxing is a boxing of our Ma family style, and it's actually a full system itself. Whereas most of the time you hear horse stuff is like bits and pieces from other styles. So you'll always see stuff like horse stance, which is common for a lot of different martial arts. And then for arts like Xingyiquan or Xinyiliuhe, you might see horse techniques, but they don't have necessarily a whole horse style. But in our Ma family system of Kung Fu, they were a family that owned horses, and so they developed a sort of horse boxing system based around what they observed from the horses that they raced. So neat little trivia there. So what we're going to learn in this video about the horse is that it's stability and agility, not stability or agility. So a lot of people tend to look at martial arts styles as very much like it could be like this or it could be like that. They don't look at it as it could be both at the same time. So what I mean is, right, some people like to say, my Kung Fu is like a tree. I'm solid and I can't be moved, or I'm very strong, right? So stability. And then other Kung Fu styles or other martial arts styles might be like, I'm very agile, I'm very spring-like and very quick to move. But then you touch them and they're, like a paper bag blown away in the wind. So people tend to say, I'll sacrifice stability if I can have agility, or people will say, I will sacrifice agility if I can have stability. But the horse demonstrates that we can have both at the same time, which is what we should be looking for, right? Because we look at the Kung Fu arts and we see horse stance, which is like common foundation for most Kung Fu styles. And we're first working on stability, because this is like good stance for like grappling, wrestling, and for good stability because it's equal on both sides, and it's not necessarily that I have to be low to the ground in it, but it's stable, the base is wider, and it's not so like heavy on one side, whereas like with cat stance it's like there's more agile, more agility into it, whereas horse stance is a lot more stable. But people end up getting into a habit of, I am going to be only stable in this stance and I'm going to be only agile in this stance. But they should be having both ideally. So when you sit in horse stance, you should not just be sitting and just kind of letting your body hang. You should be active in your legs. And I don't mean to tense up, but I mean to be ready to move, right? So even if like I'm standing in my horse stance, I should be ready to move at any given moment. That just like a horse that's standing in the middle of the field, right? Because you see a horse just standing there, right? You try to push it, right? It's heavy horse, it ain't gonna go anywhere. But if it hears a little crackling in the woods, boom, gone, right? It's fast as the wind. And it's not gonna take a moment to be like, okay, and now I go, right? No, it's just gonna go, right? Just immediately go. So we want to be like this. We want to both be stable as well as agile. So I can be stable, right? Something tries to push on me, I can stop it, I can neutralize it, but I need to be movable, right? I need to be to the point where, we stand in a stance a long time and then we try and get out of it. It's like, all right, drag up. Okay, now I can move. No, it should be immediate, right? Immediate. Because you don't want to be a sitting duck in combat, right? Combat is always on the move. If you're standing in one place, you're easy target and they're just going to wallop over you. And if you're always able to move, that's good. But if you're not stable, the moment you actually meet contact, you're just going to be taken advantage of. You're going to be pushed all the way over. We're talking push hands that every time we come in contact with the opponent, whether we're blocking a strike or we're striking them or we're grappling them, it's a moment in which we can take their balance, right? And if they're falling all over themselves, if they have lost their center of gravity, if they're now falling, in a sense, we have control over their body, and then we can follow up with our own techniques or our takedowns from that point on, right? But if we're only focusing on agility and we lack our stability, right, then from the moment of contact, I might end up sending myself off balance, right? If I don't have a proper structure, if I go to punch and they block it in a certain way, I might end up throwing myself off. I like to look at this in the same way that I tell my students when I'm teaching them how to kick powerfully and to kick while maintaining balance. I'll have them like hold our kick pad, right? And I'll show them the difference, like when I kick, if I'm not stable, right? It's more so that I will end up kicking myself off of them because they're sitting there with a good structure, right? But if I don't have grounding, I'll end up kicking myself off of them, so I won't have the same power that I would have otherwise. But instead, once I ground myself, I put power into this leg, and then I kick them, then I bounce them off. So it's important that we have to have both, right? Because if I come into contact with the opponents, right, I want to make sure that I'm in a situation where the moment of touch, I won't have my balance, I won't have my control taken from me and taken by them. So you must have both. You must be the horse that stands firm, as well as the horse that's gone and in the wind as soon as it hears any kind of danger, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean, while you should avoid fighting, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to run all the time. What I'm talking about is, again, the stability and agility and having both at the same time. Okay, so that's it for this video. See you in the next one.